We've been talking about our series, which is called Troubles. If there's anybody in here that ain't went through troubles, or don't know no troubles, or don't have no troubles, please raise your hand. Because I want to come live with you. I want to know how you do it, when you do it, and where you do it. Because I can't seem to shake troubles. I run over here, trouble follow me. I look behind me, trouble's there. I look ahead of me, trouble's waiting around the corner to ambush me. Troubles. Because Jesus said, in John 16:33, he says, in this world there will be tribulations, troubles, suffering, pain, heartaches, setbacks, things that you don't understand. He said, but be of good cheer. Don't let them get you so down. Weeping may endure for the night, but I promise you joy will come. Sometimes it seems like you can't see your way out of troubles. But I don't want you to set your eyes on troubles. He said, be of good cheer, because I've overcome them. And so we've been doing a series of troubles and comforted, and today's series, I want to continue. We did Romans 8:28, and it was a powerful series. As I said last week, everything that God does has a spiritual significance. Yes. Everything that God does has a significance spiritually. I don't want you to ever forget that. Whatever you're going through, no matter where you go, what you do, how low you get, you got to know this. And Jesus said this would happen. But you got to know that God is building your character. And so today's topic we're going to talk about is our Christ-like character in troubles.
All right, go ahead.
Our Christ-like character in troubles. And I'm not going to recap everything, but I want to just talk about a few things. We left off in Romans 8:28, where we know that all things, that God causes all things, everything to work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And we went and we broke down every 2 and 3 words of that whole verse, even on to 29. And I felt that when we got done with that service, we understood a little bit more, didn't we? We grew just a little bit more, and that's what it is. It says that the word is line upon line, precept upon precept, a little at a time. Imagine if God had to blow our minds with all the depths and the knowledge and the width of the Bible and the Word of God at one time. It'd fry our brain cells. Or we'd be a Jim Jones and start a cult. And let me tell you, there's been a lot of people that started a cult. God said. God didn't tell you nothing. Your head said. You should have told your head to shut your mouth, head, because you don't know what you're talking about. You see, it doesn't matter what you think God says. It has to matter that what you know that God is saying. You see, I heard a man that is no longer with us, Pastor Monroe. He says, out of all things, get knowledge. If you don't have no understanding and knowledge of what God is saying, you're going to destroy a lot of people's lives. A Christ-like character through troubles. Every problem we go through is a character-building opportunity. The word character is this, is mental and moral qualities to a distinctive individual. That means the character that God is shaping in you is not the character that God is shaping in you. It's distinctive. That means it's made especially for what you are equipped to handle. What you can handle, they can't handle. What they can't handle, she can't handle. And so what God does, being omnipotent, being all-powerful, knowing every individual, he takes his time and he starts you from whence you're a little person, and he begins to shape that character. So if you like to steal when you're little, guess what kind of character you're developing? a distinctive one called I like stealing. If you like to lie when you're little, guess what kind of character you're developing? A distinctive character, I like to lie. So here we go. We begin to develop all these layers of characters, these false characters, these diabolical characters, these characters that is not conducive to what God wants, and we begin to become all these things. So now you're a grown person and you say, oh, my troubles have overcome me. Lord, I need you. And so you come to Jesus, you accept him as your Lord and Savior, but your character never changes.
Oh, help us, Lord.
Because you say, ooh, I kind of like the way that feels.
Oh,
I can't give up my lust and my lying and my stealing because I've been doing it so long. And so Jesus has to begin to say, I got to take that from you, son, and I got to replace it with me. And so God will use every method he has to break down that false character, only for you to become Romans 8 and 29 into the image of Christ. And that's why we go through these things. Wouldn't it be nice if we were just perfect? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be perfect. You know why? I wouldn't know nothing. A perfect person don't know anything. They don't know hardship. They don't know trials. They don't know what it feels like to be down and broken and lonely and sad. They only know perfect things, which don't exist. So every problem we go through is a character building opportunity. I'm going to use some definitions because I want to have the most clarity on what we're talking about. Every problem we go through is a character building opportunity. And the more difficult it is, the greater the potential for what? Everything that God does has a spiritual significance. So the more difficult your problem is, it's a greater opportunity for greater spiritual growth.
yes, yes.
You know, there's a term we use in bodybuilding. It's called no pain.
No gain.
No pain.
No gain.
But I don't want no pain. Because pain makes me insane in the membrane. That's okay. God got to fix that brain too. Whatsoever man thinketh, so he becometh. You want to change your ways, change the way you think. So God got to work on that too, huh? You see, every temptation, every lust, every problem we have starts in our mind. We think about it. We conceive it in here first before it ever comes to here. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. I want to use the analogy like weightlifting. When you're lifting weights, you can only get stronger by lifting more weights. When you're going through troubles and tests and trials, you can only get stronger by overcoming them. And some of us have to keep going back to the same test and trial because God don't like no flunkies. You will keep taking algebra until you pass it. See, algebra is don't touch it. Ouch, bro. That hurt. So God says, I'm going to send you to algebra until you learn. Don't touch it. Don't cross it. Don't want it. Don't desire it. Don't taste it. Eat. Don't do it. So you got to keep staying in algebra until you pass. And then once you pass algebra, he takes you to your next course, drama time. Because you're going to have all that drama in your life. Oh, and it never ends, does it? Did I tell you last week that life is just a series of events and circumstances that continues to come? So do you think drama don't come with that?
Oh, yeah.
How many can pass the drama test today? Raise your hand. You a lie. You cannot pass the drama test. You know why? Because no one can.
No.
You can't control the drama that's going to come out of somebody's mouth that's going to pull you into a battle. All you can do is what? Survive it. All you can do to anything is survive it. That's all we were meant to do, is survive it. We got to go through it. And so our analogy of a weightlifter is like this. If you still just work out with the same weights, you go to the gym and you put on the same 10 pounds on your 45-pound dumbbell, and that's all you do for 3 years, guess what? You're going to stay the same. Never pushing yourself to a heavier weight. Always just saying, I'm going to just stay in the same place, lift the same weight, do the same thing. Let me tell you how muscles grow. I didn't learn this until I was older. I thought muscles just grew because you lift weights. They do. But the physiological part that happens is the muscle gets torn down. And the new muscle comes back thicker and harder through growth. But it's funny, that's why you can't, your butt hurts when you squat, your pecs hurt when you do bench, your thighs hurt when you bleed them, because you just bruised them. You just tore down all the muscle fiber, and now it's rebuilding to become stronger and thicker. And there's terminology, and I can't even pronounce the words that they use. Myofibers, muscle hypertrophy, all these things. But what it does, in layman terms, because you've pushed it and tore it down, it comes back rebuilt, stronger. See, it's the same thing with our troubles. When God pushes us, our troubles try to tear us down. But God knows when I get done with them, when they make it through this weight training, their character is going to be stronger.
Oh, yeah.
Divorce, I can handle that. Heartbreak, I can handle that. Loneliness, passed that test already. Troubles, you'll never be ready to go through, but you always have to be able to make it through. You see, you're never ready for the troubles that come in your life, but the part of it is you got to make it through the tests. And yes, God doesn't administer all these tests. Life does. There are certain things that God will allow to happen because God allows everything to happen for a reason, because we discussed that He's able to control all things. And He allows these things to happen because He wants your character to become the image of His Son. Let's go to Romans 5 and 3. Romans 5 and 3. Paul tells us, he says, we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials. For we know that they help us to develop endurance. Endurance. What is endurance? Endurance is the fact or power of enduring an unpleasant or a difficult process of a situation. Endurance is the fact and the power of enduring something unpleasant. And Paul tells us that we need to rejoice when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they can help us develop endurance. And endurance develops what? Strength of character. And character strengthens our confident hope of salvation. You see, that's why we got saved. Because we was tired of doing it on our own. And I love how it says it in this version. It says, not only this, but we also exalt, which is to have joy or rejoice in our tribulations, knowing that our tribulations bring about perseverance. And perseverance, proven character, and proven character, hope. And hope is this, it's the expectation and desire for something to happen. See, when we prayed for JoJo last week, we had hope. It was the expectation of something we desired. We desired God to heal his body, to allow him to accept the chemo, and so he wouldn't have a negative reaction anymore. And that was our expectation. That was our hope, because God was testing our character. And in this, we cried. We gave up. We asked God why. But what it did, it gave us perseverance to continue to press on. It gave us endurance to develop our character. So instead of us running away and giving up, we said we will stand and fight for JoJo. And this is what your troubles do. Your troubles will either make you run and hide or stand and fight. God can't do nothing for you unless you decide to stand upon yourself. And once you make that decision, that I'll have perseverance, that I'll have endurance, that I will outlast this trouble, that I will grow in my character and become that man and woman of God, no matter what I go through, then God says, yes, 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 my grace is sufficient. Yes, 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 I won't allow you to suffer more than you can bear. Yes, 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 I'll make a way out of every situation. Yes, 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 I will provide you with my promise. And then you feel so good because you feel like you grew. All because you had perseverance and you had endurance. Listen, what happens outwardly on the surface of your life is not as important as what happens inside of you. Everything that happens has a spiritual significance. A loss of a loved one, a divorce, a loss of a job, bullied, abused, cheated on, accused, has a spiritual significance. Has a spiritual significance. It's changing something on the inside of you. God is wanting to talk to the spiritual man, the spiritual woman. God is wanting to bring that person out.
Yes, yes.
Your character will last forever, but your circumstance is only temporary.
Amen.
What is your character? What is your mental and your moral fortitude? Are you that weightlifter that keeps those same 10 pounds on the weights? And you say you've been getting strong? Yeah, you look fit. But we call you kind of people all show and no go. See, I was a football player and I benched 406 pounds. And I didn't have the body of a Greek goddess. I didn't have no six-pack, I had a 22-pack. But boy, I said put on 4 plates. Bam! And then I see that old muscle-bound guy. I said, how many you gonna do, bro? Because football players, they live different than bodybuilders. So football players call bodybuilders all fluff.
No stuff.
But now there's some new bodybuilders out. They strong. Because they on the juice. Your character. Your character. Everything that happens has a spiritual significance. You mean God? I lost my marriage. Had a spiritual significance. God, I got strung out on crystal meth. Had a spiritual significance. was such a wretched man had a spiritual significance. Because look at the results today. Look at your character today. Who do you love? The world or me? I love you, God. That's right. Who do you ride and die for? The world or me? I ride and die for you, God. That's right. Look what your troubles brought out. You brought out the best in me. When everyone else around could only see the worst in me. You see, Jesus was shaping my character, and I didn't even know it. The more I said no, he said go. The more I said I won't, he said you will. The more I said I hate you, he said I love you. And I said, God, how can I resist you? He said, you can't. He said, you can only assist me. Because I got something for you to do. Oh yeah, you coming to El Paso? No! Man, if I was at a different church, it'd be big. In El Paso, 80% Catholic? Really? And I'm black. There's only 17 black people in the whole El Paso. Did I not tell Abraham to leave the land of his mother and father? Yeah, but that was Abraham. I'm Mike. And here we are. At ground zero. And guess what? We still go.
Amen.
Character. Character. What does your character say about you? Some people character, you know, you've always run into those different people with different type of characters. Oh man, you a punk. You know why they call you that? Because you're a quitter and a crybaby. And they see it. So next thing you know, you didn't stand up and fight when that bully was beating you up. You went and told the principal. So your character says, I run. Not me. My character said, Mrs. Davis, we got Mike in the office. He just beat up a guy. Would you come get him? My mom said, boy, why did you get in the fight? Didn't I tell you nothing? Mom, look, he stepped to me. I mean, my character is like, I'm a lion. I used to be a sissy, remember? Remember, Mom?
Yeah.
See that analogy? Yeah, it might not be a good one, but what it did, it brought out the lion in me. It brought out the strength in me. It brought out the person that God wanted me to be. And you know, I don't regret anything in my life because everything I went through had a spiritual significance. You see, when I'm in warfare or battling and I see a demon come, I ain't gonna run.
You got that right.
My character rises up and I attack. Well, where did I learn that from? You see what I'm saying? It's funny how our parents shape our character and they have such an influence upon us. Now, let's just look at that spiritually. God is our parent and he's shaping our character. Did he not tell Gideon, quit being a punk? Get out there. But God, I only have 300 men and there's 30,000. And what was the end of that story? Gideon went out there with his 300 men and he was victorious. But he tried to run. First Peter's. Go to 1 Peter. 1 Peter, verse 1, 6 and 7. And you know, I'm reading these scriptures and I'm like, okay, God tells us, first Paul said to rejoice in our troubles. And now, here's Peter. Peter said to be truly glad. I was wondering, were they all drinking the same wine?
Yeah, it was.
So we might learn something about this character. I think in our troubles, we got to have kind of a positive attitude, huh? But no, that's not what we do. That's not what us humans do. These are superiors. They tell us to rejoice when you're going through trials. They tell you to be glad when you're going to trials. They say to look at it as an optimistic opportunity that you're going through a trial. But us millennials and Generation X and us, whatever else y'all call yourselves, y'all go through something and y'all like, what? Let's run. Let's retreat. Let's forget about it. Maybe it'll go away. Let's close our eyes. Coming through. And when I open my eyes, they're going to be good. I'm not going to see them no more. 1, 2, 3. Peter's. He says in verse 6, he said, so be truly glad. There's a wonderful joy ahead. He said, even though you have to endure many trials for a little while, he says, these trials will show that your faith is genuine, authentic, not fake, not fabricated, but the real deal. Do you got real faith, or do you got that other kind of faith? He says that your troubles and your trials will test your faith. And then he goes on to say this, and I love this. He said, it is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. Oh, God, I see what you're doing. You brought out the best in me. He says this, he says, so when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. Yes. Peter says, be truly glad. Be truly glad that you're going through troubles. He says, because it's going to do something for you. See, when we're facing many types of trials, we will come out as pure gold that has been through the refiner's fire.
That's right.
You see, I don't know about you, but I like it rough. I don't know, I've always liked pain. You can punch me, knock me out, bite me, kick me, knock me out again, and I'm still coming. I guess God made me that way because in hindsight, that was going to be my life. I was going to get punched and knocked out, and I was going to keep coming. Troubles was going to follow me all my life. And even today, trouble still exists in my life. I can tell you some testimonies that are current. Troubles will never leave us. But I got to rejoice. I got to be truly glad because I know that in my troubles, God is still refining me. I know that Peter says that I'm being purified as pure gold. You see, a silversmith knows when the silver he is making is pure. How does he know that? Because he can see his reflection in it. Oh, that's good. A silversmith knows. Silversmith ain't got no college degree. He doesn't get a degree in theology. He didn't get a MBA or a doctorate. He's just an old guy that knows how to heat up something, get out the old raggedy stuff out of it, put it in a mold and make something out of it. He can have a 3rd grade education and be a silversmith. But guess what he knows about when silver is pure? He can see his reflection in it. You see, listen, when you're going through troubles and you seem hopeless and you seem lost, look at your troubles and see your reflection in it. See your perseverance in it. See your endurance in it. See your victory in it. See yourself coming through it. I may be down right now and sad, but I know that I'm going to come through this. Things may not be looking up for me right now, but I know I'm going to make it through this. You got to be able to see yourself coming through your trials. You got to be able to see yourself in the midst of your troubles. You may be a drunk all your life, but one day you're going to see yourself sober. You may be a drug addict all your life, but one day you're going to see yourself set free and clean. You may be an adulterous husband all your life, but one day you're going to see yourself loving your wife unconditionally as Christ loves the church.
Oh, yeah.
See your reflection in the midst of your trouble. You don't need a theology degree to see that. You need faith. And that's all your troubles is doing. It's making your character like Christ. Y'all getting this? You see, when we are being refined by our trials and troubles and tribulations, we will be able to see Jesus' reflection in ourselves. When we are being refined by our troubles and tribulations, we will begin to see Jesus in ourselves. Because, see, Jesus was refined by his troubles, his trials, and his tribulations. And guess what he saw? He saw God in his reflection. You don't have to have your own strength. God says that his strength is sufficient. Just call on him. Use his strength. He's there to enable you to get through your troubles. You know why? Because we've been predestined to be conformed to the image of Christ. I wish there was an easier way for us to make it to heaven, but there's not. I wish it was an easier way for those that we didn't have to suffer what the world had to offer. But we will. But we will not be overcome. We will not be overtaken. Jesus says, be of good cheer. Honey child, baby girl, baby boy, I've overcome everything. Well, Jesus, you didn't overcome lust like I go through it. How do you know? Did you not read that I was tempted as a man? And I know every temptation that man has ever experienced just because I didn't write a chapter about it. You don't think I wanted to murder people that defiled my father's temple? They lucky I only whooped them with a cat of nine tails. But if my father, he wanted to strike him dead. Because he ain't no joke. You see, Jesus overcome all his trouble. You didn't know that I wanted to come down off this cross and slay them Romans? I am the Son of God. You didn't know I wanted to destroy the devil right there? When he took me up to the highest temple and said, bow down and worship me and all this will be yours. You don't know that I wanted to display my power on earth because I was God in flesh and I had to go through this stuff. I did it for you. Yes. So you wouldn't have an excuse.
That's right. Remember that one.
So you couldn't say, it's not Jesus. I can't do it.
You don't want to hear it. Got that.
You were predestined to do it. Before you was in your mother's womb, he foreknew you. Romans 8:29. See, when we read Romans 8:28, that God causes all things to work together for the good of those that love the Lord and called according to his purpose, we got to read 29. That says that the reason why all those things work together for those that are called according to his purpose, the reason why you're going to go through troubles is because you were predestined to become the image of his Son. And whatever his Son had to go through, you're going to have to go through. Go to James. James 1. Troubles, trials are designed to do one thing. 1 and 2 says, dear brothers and sisters, when troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. Oh man, I'm so tired of hearing this stuff. An opportunity. Let's look at the definition of opportunity, shall we? An opportunity is a set of circumstances that makes it possible for us to do something. You ain't no chop that I'm having an opportunity to do something in my situation. Yeah. Be victorious. Overcome. Walk through it. See Christ's reflection in it. See yourself set free. See your situation changed. Increase your faith. Grow from it. Know that God is working out something that have a spiritual significance in my life. The word significant means meaning and importance. I think it's pretty important that you grow spiritually. What about you, bud?
Absolutely.
There's people in the church that's been here all their life. Growing old, but never growing up. Growing old, but never growing up.
Yes.
Staying the same old jealous person. Same old troublemaker.
Come on.
Same old untiger.
Come on.
Same old unspiritually developed person. But I go to church every day, to the Church of Hypertrophy and Fish of Tabernacle of Latter Saints of Israel. And my pastor is the Honorable Reverend Mahajan Lahizam and Haggadah Menashe Dick Back Davis. Reverend Bishop, Archbishop, and Archdiocese Bishop Dias. Mike Davis. That's my name. He got 5 collars. They gonna like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Listen, Linda's, grow up.
Yes, yes.
Grow up. Step up. Get up. And stay up.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that. I don't know what I said, but I have to go back and reach that. James says, dear brother and sister, when troubles come your way, I love this. This is like infinite wisdom. Consider it an opportunity for great joy. When you look at it that way, doesn't it seem different? Maybe that's what you should do in your troubles. You should get a different accent so you can have a different person, a different attitude inside of it. But it says when troubles come your way, consider the opportunity for great joy. For we know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh man, I used to love the $6 Million Man. Your endurance. I mean, you can just keep running. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Then you have the dog, then the woman, and then the eye. You become bionic. Did it say you become bionic? Let me read that again. It says, so your endurance has a chance to grow. Well, the endurance is the fact of the power of enduring an unpleasant or difficult process or situation without giving away, without giving up. Oh, you mean I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me? You mean they that wait upon the Lord should renew their strength, they should mount up with wings of eagles, they should run and not grow weary, they should walk and not faint? I can do those things? Yes. But it's my second marriage. I know. You learned so much from your first one. But my heart's been broken so many times. I know. But fix it this time.
Amen.
But I'm tired of being vulnerable and getting hurt. I know. Because you're growing from that hurt. But every time I give, they never say thank you. I know. But I said thank you.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like it's so hard to live this life. I know. But I won't allow you to suffer more than you can bear. Then you get that biotic endurance. And he says this. He says, for you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. See, in becoming like Christ, God will take us through the same experiences Jesus went through.
Yes.
Loneliness, temptation, stress, criticism, rejection, and many other problems. Go to Hebrews. This is just right across from James. Go to Hebrews 5. Hebrews 5, 8, and 9 says, even though Jesus was God's son,
Oh, yeah. Come on. Come on.
even though Jesus was God's son, even though Jesus was God's son, he learned obedience from the things he suffered.
Yes, Lord.
I didn't write that. And then it says, in this way, God qualified him.
Come on.
God purified him. God refined him. God enabled him.
Yeah.
God appointed him as the perfect high priest. And he became the source of eternal salvation for all those who obey him.
Go ahead. There it
You
is.
see, in your troubles, guess what? There's a secret ingredient. There's a searching engine. There's a key word. It's called, you have to obey what God is telling you how to get through your troubles.
That's right.
You may want to go and get your gun, but God says, no, son, get to your knees.
There you go.
You may want to go and get revenge, but God says, forgive them because they know not what they do. You found out that your wife cheated on you, so you want to go cheat on her. But God says, no more eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Turn the other cheek. But the streets say, I got to kill that fool. You know what I'm saying? I can't lose my rep like that. I went to kill a man, and I was like, I got to kill him because this dude tried to kill me with my own gun. I can't let that get out. And that's still good. But I was high. But I was going to go kill him. For real. Because my mentality was my trouble said to go get a gun bigger than the one he stole from you and shoot him with the bigger gun. Okay. Why would God exempt us? Why would God exempt us from what he allowed his own son to experience? And just in case y'all have other ideas that you ain't gonna have to go through nothing. It says, even though Jesus, we need to memorize this, Hebrews 5 and 8. Even though Jesus was the Son of God, he learned obedience from the things he suffered. Jesus suffered. And Romans 8:29 says that we go through all these things so God can conform us into the image of his Son. And then we just realize that why would God exempt us from what he allowed his own Son to experience? Question mark. Ask yourself that when you're going through it. And our last scripture, go to Romans. Romans 8:17. Romans 8:17 says, and since we are his children, we are his heirs. In fact, together with Christ, we are heirs of God's glory. But if we are to share in his glory, we must also share in his suffering. Dang it, dog! There ain't no way around it, huh? Bottom line is this, and this might hurt y'all, but I'm gonna let you know. The bottom line is this: we are all like jewels, shaped with the hammer and a chisel of adversity called life. And if a jeweler's hammer isn't strong enough to chip off those rough edges, God will use a sledgehammer. And if we are really stubborn, he will use a jackhammer.
You got that right.
Because God will use whatever it takes to conform you, stand up, to the image of Christ
I'm a witness.
through trials. My mama used to say this to me: a hard head make a soft butt in the long run. I didn't know there were so many ways to evaluate our troubles. You know, we thought from the first time, the second time, and then from last week to breaking that down to finally getting an understanding, to knowing that all these troubles, and isn't it great how the word just runs together? You know, we really broke down Romans 8:28, and then we found out there's a reason for 29. So basically today was to 29. It was basically knowing that all this we go through, and then to read all these scriptures, and knowing that everybody's got to go through this. To know that God is the master jeweler. And some of us have some rough edges. You know, you can avoid a lot of troubles. A lot of troubles. Not all troubles, but a lot of troubles. By just getting your life right and doing right. Because you're going to have troubles even when you're on the straight and narrow.
That's right.
But God gives a hedge of protection around you, so your troubles don't overcome you. Let's pray. Father, we just thank you today for the word. We thank you, Father, that even in the midst of our troubles, you tell us to be truly glad that we have an opportunity to grow in our faith. You tell us to rejoice, knowing that our suffering is the same as Christ. Father, you tell us that through Christ's obedience, he learned his obedience through suffering. And if we want to share in his glory, we must also share in his suffering. Father, prepare us, grow us, mature us, equip us to be able to stand, Father, to grow spiritually, to understand this, Father. If we come out of this whole series with one truth, let us come out with just this one thing, knowing this, that everything that happens on the outside is transforming us on the inside. And that everything that is transformed on the inside has spiritual significance. That means it is most meaningful and important. Father, I thank you for my troubles. I thank you that I don't want to be somebody that don't pass no tests. Father, I'll go through whatever I got to go through because I want to share in your glory. I don't want the easy way out. Because easy peasy don't do nothing. I don't want to lift the same amount of weight. Give me more weight, Father. I can take it. I can carry some weight for others too, Father. Father, because you said you wouldn't allow me to suffer more than I can bear. You said your yoke is easy and your burden is light. But Father, I don't want to be a selfish person. I want to pray for my brother and sister. I want to stand in the gap for them. I don't want to be caught up just in me, myself, and I. I want to give myself away so I can be used. So Father, help us as we learn this series, Troubles. Let it transform us. Let us renew us. Let us look at troubles in a whole different light, Father. They're not so overcoming. They're not so overbearing where we can't overcome them. Father, I think that I'm stronger now. I think, Father, that I can stand a little stronger now. I see a little clearer now, Father, that I think I can really get my hand around it, that I understand what you're doing now, God. Before I didn't understand. I was confused. I ran and hid, but now I feel like I'm growing in you. And I know that something is changing inside of me, God. I can't quite figure it out. But I'm growing wiser. I'm growing stronger. My faith is being increased, Father. My measure is coming forth, Father. I can see the new day that's coming, Father. I know that my troubles won't weigh me down, but they're to make me stronger, to conform me. I got faith now, Father. I feel like I can make it now, God. Now I know I only got a little bit, but I feel like I'm on the right track right now. God, don't let me stop growing. Don't let me stop gravitating towards you. I'm just now figuring it out, God. I'm getting a clue about it. So, Father, don't leave me. Don't leave me right now. Keep drawing me closer to you. Father, I need you more than I ever needed you before. Father, I need you more than I've ever needed you before. Don't let go of me, God. Don't let go of me. You've brought me too far. We've been through too much together, God. Oh man, we've been through a lot, God, and you've always held me. In my loneliest, darkest time, you've always held me, Father. So, Father, I thank you. I thank you, Father. I thank you. Father, I vow to serve you all the days of my life. In Jesus' name.